In case you were wondering why Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff, did not wear a crown up until the end of WandaVision, well, there's two people I guess you can blame for this one, and that's the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony Russo. So this came at us from recent news in relation to Andy Park, aka one of the people working with Marvel Studios in the visual department, and specifically how they approached getting Wanda to be closer to the depiction of the comics. And there's a lot of stuff here, and especially with why it took so long to even allude or tease her having the iconic crown. And what it boils down to is that they were working on this pretty much from the first initial design that goes all the way to 2012. And they kept trying to evolve it and put it in and design it. And early on, they figured we might try it in Age of Ultron, but it didn't feel like it belonged there because it just wasn't the right time, which I will agree with. But then they tried to put it into Civil War, and the Russo brothers just would not have it. They didn't like it. They couldn't fit it into the story to justify it. They just didn't see a reason for it to appear in Civil War. So essentially, they kept pushing it back. When it came to the Avengers films, they were looking at it in the same way, saying that if you're a fanboy, you want to see it. But again, putting in a little Easter egg like that doesn't make sense. It doesn't work in the context of the story, and it could ruin what's to come just because it's out of place. And they said that they didn't specifically put it in because they wanted somebody to be able to pull it off in a meaningful way where when she gets it, it makes sense, it works, and for the story, it's justified. And I think honestly, it's smart. You know, there's something to be said about taking your time with something like that and just waiting it out till it makes sense. And certainly her becoming the Scarlet Witch at the end of WandaVision was that moment because she earned the crown. And it makes sense. And then it makes sense in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Had she just had it from the beginning when she shows up in Age of Ultron or even in Civil War, then everything from that point on out related to her would have had to play out the same. And who knows if it would have been worse or better, but ultimately, I think the way it played out was probably the best case scenario. So in my opinion, it worked out for the best. So I know people will be angry with the Russo brothers, but it making sense in WandaVision really paid off.